Our carry is Vindicta. Nice.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
What's the plan?
Okay.
We have no carry. Lit.
What's the plan?
Ouch. Put on Lithuanian drill. What the hell is that? I started Naruto again today. Time to rewatch number 3. Come on, Hazy! You know the truth.
I like it.
It's too bad I got parried from that far away. That's my bad. Holy shit. You wouldn't. The fadeaway parry is gonna cause both of us to die. Oh, I'm trying too hard to get maximum damage. And yes, I'm taking his wave. I don't give a shit. I'm trolling.
Ready for a 2 a.m. metro ride.
What? How did I not get that? Nobody shot that.
What would I do without you, Ava?
Turn one's up. Lithuania mentioned? Wait, Jen, you're Lithuanian. I forgot. I knew somebody was Lithuanian. I just don't remember who it was.
Ready to have some fun.
Yes. WS. Not gonna lie, I'm taking everything away from my Wraith. I mean, Vindicta, who's my carry, by the way. She can have that whole wave. Fuck it. Take the whole wave. What? Not ready for the gun carry Doorman. His first item was Mystic Burst. You can take the whole wave, Vindicta. If you can, I don't know if you fucking can. Yeah, she don't got that in her, bruh. I need a little bit more. And then I can go gank this right lane hard as shit. I feel like me leaving this lane is not a good idea. Cause we're gonna push really hard. Give me that money.
Well, someone's looking to make a statement.
Enjoying the game with Eskay. Well, I'm in a game with Eskay. How do you know that?
Meet your end.
Carry on.
There's no way I'm the one getting shot. When the other dude's closer. You are? I'm in a game with Eskay. We got a fuck away. She on my team. I thought her name was like Mau Mau or some shit. Do Eskay do it to Yamato? Rar? We gotta fucking win. I got Beethoven or Matilda playing in my ear. I must win this for Eskay. Wait, I'm rotating green.
Let's see if they're prepared.
On my way! Wait,
Sounds good.
maybe if you can kill that in first beforehand, it'd be lit.
Ball is not
I'll be
ready.
there in like 5 seconds. Hold! Hold! Let's fucking go!
Some people.
Thank you.
Oh, he's 1 HP. Please.
Wait, is that Eskay? I feel like Eskay doesn't talk that loud.
I'll get into position.
Well, I'm coming for it! I'm gonna kill a bitch ass!
They destroyed the Guardian on Blue.
Oh! I like that. My bad. Sorry for yelling.
Quite lovely, wasn't it?
It was worth it.
Hell yeah. Bird's coming. Probably green, silver. Watch out.
I see great talent.
Oh, dude, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the beat right now.
Stain my hands.
I'm feeling the beat, chat. I'm literally feeling the beat.
Like that, I got some other stuff that fell off the truck.
Wait. We're getting rich as hell.
I'm going out
Oh, we lost our tower already, but that's fine. As long as I out-rotate them, I think we're chilling. Blue's gone. They could be rotating the side lanes. Watch out.
A little bit of the brine right here in your hot little hands.
Who's a better gank? I'm coming green again and killing Furnace again.
Sounds good.
I'm here now.
I fucked that up, sorry.
What's the plan?
The hell was that? The hell did I just witness, bro?
Thanks for your help.
They said this Calico rocks. Hell yeah! Coming blue.
The McGinnis is wall breaking. I cannot do anything about it, guys.
Okay, yeah, I'm coming.
I really.
Hell yeah!
Thanks for the assist.
She's getting all the way in there. I'm coming. I don't. You're way too fast. I don't know if I can catch up. Let's go! I got no, please no.
Nice. As will I.
Oh, Ashri with the raid. Wait, Ashri, I didn't know you streamed Ashri. What the hell? Yo, mods, shout about Ashri.
I
would if I had more setup, sorry.
You're good. I'm going to blue, actually.
Let's go for a walk.
Wait, what?
Eva.
I cannot let this begin. It's just fucking wall break the whole time.
Okay, I'll hover.
She's seen now on yellow as well.
Mina.
DSC with the follow. Welcome to the Akatsuki. You have incredible energy. Cashes from Eskay stream. Holy shit. Hi, Eskay viewer. I'm coming yellow.
Let's go, base. I got it.
Alright.
Wait.
I can probably match McGinnis. But
yeah.
might not be worth it.
Wait.
On the way, Calico.
I got lock in.
Not my fucking god spirit bebop.
Bro, Dougie. Okay, we got a kill. That's good. I need a couple more dollars.
These are your final moments.
I didn't get that one. Okay, we're good. How the game's been? Hey, I've only played one game and I won that game.
I see Bebop.
And now we gotta win this game as well. I'm gonna hit you with the follow and look forward to more high-level Calico gaming. Yes! Yes, DSC. Wait, I don't know how to say your name. I got you. We're gonna win this.
Let's go for a
I need to
little
buy melee charge and because it's Bebop. I'm coming, Bebop.
Will you prove worthy?
Probably not.
surprise.
Woo! 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 Woo!
I got. Are you gonna die?
I'm running! No! I love! Oh, go back to spawn. Thank you. That healing minion, bro. That's fucking awesome. What's up, Red? 17 seconds stream watch. I live.
Take out Eternus.
You gotta play for this urn. Urn's very important here. I'm gonna go pick up the urn.
Yeah.
What?
You want the casting buff or?
Please. Thank you.
You better back the hell up! Is their side of urn actually?
I had to go on some sightseeing. Take urn right now. Take the freaking urn right now.
Okay, I'm going.
It's neutral right now. That's why.
Okay, I got it.
Nice.
We're literally up so much.
Believe it!
You can honestly run it.
Unless you want to give it to me.
If you want it, I'll. Who follow?
No.
Zen Helper's Dark with the follow. Welcome to the Akatsuki.
I can't let go.
I'm moving.
I swear, man.
Oh, what's up, Velpus? How you doing? You see that smooth movement? Diamond's never go. Fuck, man. We got the urn. Time to retreat. That's good. That's really good. We can back up. Their whole team's here. We got what we needed. No.
The dark will claim.
Holy minion speed. This could be the game to get me to Eternus. Wait, chat. What rank is Eskay?
I've got Mirage. Oh shit, GT's here.
Yeah.
They're forcing our green.
Can we force blue maybe?
They destroyed the Guardian on green.
E3.
I'm just hoping.
He's Eternus. I'm playing with an E3. That balance.
I'm sure we're beginning. Oh, never mind.
You can't stop this.
So your Vindicta might need the death penalty.
God, you are so precious.
Greenwich is under attack.
Greenwich. And he rotate to the yellow lane. Wait.
There's two on yellow. I'm matching fairly well.
I'm gonna try to rotate that way.
Maybe you are a dear.
Wait, I almost have Spirit Snatch.
These two are dipshits. They actually suck.
You won't tell them that in all chat.
Saying this.
Hold on. I'm gonna make it look like it's abandoned. Then I'm gonna door back and ult or cart.
Good.
I don't know what that does.
Okay, was watching her stream earlier. She got an
Oh, they're
ult
on
to
our
learn
team.
Yamato.
We'll stop them.
Time to die. The shadows.
No, that was lit.
Coming to that shit.
Oh, we can get this Guardian now?
I'm leaving him. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get the Guardian.
Let's fucking go! Not gonna lie, I could not understand a single thing Eskay's saying though.
This is doing camps right now on blue.
Go! I'm the reason we took 2 Guardians. Come on! Oh, we got all 3. That's. Oh. Oh, we're
B-box.
running! Ouch, bro.
Wait. We do that again.
Okay. You're asking about the quality of Deadlock matchmaking. You're right.
They're not stupid enough.
There's that robot.
I got hooked through a wall.
Give me 1 sec.
L second. Time to drink water. Your chat loves you. Say hi, Eskay's chat. Hi, Eskay's chat. If she's here. I don't know. But this music is
Alright, I'm back.
giving me so much fucking energy, bro.
Really unlucky. I was about to run
This
up
music's
on
really
Talon
fucking
this
hitting
season.
the right
I'm
spot.
sorry. My headset was
Alright, good news,
dying.
guys. I didn't get hit by the bird.
1, 2, 3.
Mirage on.
Are you safe? Can you make it out?
I like it.
Ava.
Yeah, I'm chilling. He's scared of me.
Okay, they could have
I
people
was kind of meaning
rotating.
that as like a get
They're
over
on
here.
our farm left side.
Let's go blue.
All right, I'll get over here if you
Infernus
want
on
to.
me.
Let's go.
Infernus is over. There's 3 people.
Pull back.
W door.
These fuckers.
That's gonna help Keep your blood on the inside.
Wait, why did I do that? I should have got the other item.
They're about to pay.
Bust up.
I should probably be getting shit done around the map instead of being a chud in yellow lane.
I like the sound of that. The other chat was raving about you earlier. Well, isn't that nice?
Wait, don't farm, don't farm, don't farm. Oh no.
Rip.
You said that and I
That's
literally hit a
unfortunate.
center.
Darling, you don't have a chance.
I got it too.
Wait, so... Wait, Eskay's
Alright,
ult is also
let's push
Eternus?
blue and green.
The king shall temper your spirit.
Maybe you are a
Okay.
dear.
Yeah, both are Eternus. Okay, okay, okay. WSK, man. And not buy the item.
They're
Yo!
leaving blue completely open.
Last one standing.
They claim the urn.
You probably should take a walker. Apply some pressure.
Well, that's not good. Can we cut a ship?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'll be the last to see.
Got it. Alright.
I'm buying slow and hex. For
2 on
the-
blue.
Let's go for a little stroll.
Push it.
They're staying on blue.
Can you push yellow then, maybe?
Rather pathetic, aren't they? Defend Greenwich.
Mirage is missing.
Meet your end.
Guinness is matching me.
I just dead ass you sniper just to clear the wave. That's gnarly as hell.
W macro.
5 seconds. Green.
I got green. I got green.
I see Inferno.
This music's not hype enough, chat.
Under attack.
Like, I want to go yellow, I'm just really
See
worried.
if they're prepared for this.
I know we'll get face fucked.
This music's not hype enough.
I just ulted the Infernus just to take his center.
Are you good,
Hey, I'm
McGinnis here?
behind
McGinnis.
Heather.
There's 3 people on me. Just fight wherever you are. Oh god.
Oh my god. What is this character?
I have 3 lines in me.
Seven.
Ah!
Oh,
I'm alive.
We finally lost Yellow Guardian
Going in.
after all
It's
that.
too bad we
effort
didn't get
Mirage puts in.
the... If we had the wave pushed in, we could have got that walker. Oh well. Oh, Girly Pop playlist? Girly Pop?
Time to die.
I don't know if that's it. We could try that one. My Mina playlist.
Still a lot playing green.
You good, Calico?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll get into position.
Hey, I'm here on green. If you look at my...
Let's go.
yeah.
I'm looking.
There is no mercy. I'm ready to have some fun.
Names taped over your mouth, scribbled out the... I'm pushing blue while you guys are fighting there. Little spies. They taped over your mouth.
Shoot.
The truth with fear lies, your little spy.
Throwing gloom.
Wait, did they nerf Shiv?
You
The hell
got
is
one on
that?
me. You're dead.
What are you doing?
Okay. Let's put
When did they make it so that the knives don't make escalating anymore?
Never? Pretty sure
I,
they still
I
work.
didn't get stacks.
Blue Walker, Blue Walker?
Never mind, he doesn't have them.
I have hex for the shiv.
There's no situation.
Good stuff, good stuff. They're pushing green, I'm going green.
I'm going yellow right now.
I'm having a mad bread right now. No way we ult in the creeps now.
Shiv's chasing
That
me.
was a really dumb ult. I don't
Silver
know why I
and
did that.
Sounds
Wait, I can buy another item.
I'm coming.
Thanks for your help, Ava.
I have Bola once he's out.
A green walker is under attack.
Fresh. Fresh. Well, that's not good. 4 kills. 2, 3, 4. Nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Just the 1, 2. That never
I'm
happens.
dead.
Let's be more than. Hold up, what's this beggar? Come, wait, oh fuck. This song is called Crush, Crush, Crush
Calico,
by
look at
Paramore.
my door.
Alright.
Dude, I knew it. Eskay, I did not know it was you. I heard that voice.
Hello.
WSK!
I thought you were gonna like go through the door.
No,
and
I thought
kill
you were gonna push him through the door.
Oh,
L
no,
communication.
I opened it behind him so that
Oh.
without him being able to see me.
I was looking at the door. I did it. I was staring at that door.
You did exactly what I wanted you to, technically.
Yep,
But-
I listened
but-
to your words perfectly. Great Talon!
Wait,
Never mind, there's a shift there.
yeah.
Earn, rotation!
Wait, wait,
rotation! No.
I'm making my way over. I'm gonna run at Gary Talon. And I'm gonna run at the robot.
They call me Run Him Down Cal!
Robot's
W-Door. What do we got there? We can back off. I'm getting the green wave.
The streets are mine.
Something happened.
I see the enemy.
I got nigga.
We don't have
Nothing compares
I'm about to blow up
to
by
a
4
quiet
stacks.
evening of love. Don't do it.
I think I'm dead. Yep.
The gin bearer must die.
Good kills, good kills.
Can we do mid?
And push the
Or
walker,
down?
or I guess we could do mid.
Yeah, mid.
No, let's do mids.
I have so much money, chat. I'm rich.
catch me if you
I like it.
Oh, why am I so rich?
I'm actually too clean with it. I'll be there in a couple seconds. I'm pretty good health.
I need to go green after this. All the lanes are pushing in, actually.
I'll clean up blue just for the time being, actually. Oh, wait, I want to catch green.
I got it.
I bet. I'm gonna go catch yellow, then you guys can go catch up the rest of blue.
Wait, I see.
Is under attack.
Bebop!
Let's take out Bebop.
you can't stop this.
Deleted!
Good. I hold myself to the highest standard.
Absolutely smacked.
They could be coming.
Wait,
for
coming
me anyway.
yellow.
I'm taking their doubles. Bro, I'm doing damage. Who needs a carrier, bro? I'm the carrier. What's up, Father Tren?
Careful, Venice. 4 at least.
Oh, wait, I'm actually giga scared. Hold on.
I'm on the way green.
We're gonna play the slow
Come
game
on
away
now.
for next turn. Or we're
One
gonna
too
do
many
some.
yellow. There's three.
Let's
here.
get these walkers at least.
Dear.
Oh, I'm getting
Farm a
jumped.
little bit first.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Wait. Let's keep the prep.
Okay.
There's like 5 minutes on redo. We can use the last minute.
Yeah.
You know, if I would have hit all that, we've been chilling. Infernus backed up. Come from Mirage.
Careful, Dynamo. There's a lot here.
Okay, I'm so close to a spike. I just need
There's a
little
door
more
here,
money.
by the way.
You are a caregiver.
I think we need to all be grouped up for a walker.
Yeah, leave green.
No, don't die yellow, please.
Uh-oh. Guys, we have the reju.
I'm roaming yellow. I'm coming yellow.
Okay, they just let me go. That's just whatever.
Nice.
There's a bebop on me.
I'm on the way.
Well, I need a little bit more money. What am I doing? How are the games? Are we Eternus yet? Trent, sorry, I read your name, but like not your message.
I see Mirage.
There's a potential.
Someone's gonna have to get. I'm going
I'm
blue.
ascending 6 currently. Bro, F this guy.
Unless Vin can
I'm
get it.
trying to change
I'll
your
go blue.
mind. Blue?
I just have to go by.
Let's go.
I'm gonna come green, then we can take this walker.
Ern's in 20. We could just run it and then force whichever side we end up on.
It'll spawn green. What the?
These are your final.
What the fuck?
Oh.
You care for your team as you do your students, Professor.
We didn't all group up. Alright, play for Endon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talon used his ult on me.
Okay. The whole chat calling you Patrick instead of me. I don't sound like Patrick! Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Surprise.
I'm not actually fighting this thing.
There's two people on green.
Let's run a yellow.
Oh, nice.
Tethered under Walker.
Demolition time.
3 green.
Oh, it's so cool. She has lightning scroll.
Yeah. What do you feel different though?
Why you only ever call me when you're... Chat, do I sound like Patrick? I've been told I sound like Moist Critical Patrick, Iron Man, Will Smith. Like, who else do I sound like, chat? I sound like everything. The same voice as Eskay, chat don't sound like...
Nice.
Gonna try to
Critical?
take
I don't
green.
hear it. Bro, they literally told... You were there when I talked about that. A little? I don't sound like Patrick! Bruh. Would you guys say I sound like Patrick Star?
No.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sounds good.
I think you sound handsome.
There is no.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I parried
You
him
sound
all.
like a caster.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
Thanks for your help, Eido.
Green is.
Please! I missed literally everything! I'm actually horrendous. I'm dog shit. I'm actually the worst
Thanks.
Oh my! Oh! Give me the
Tethered near me. I'm not getting back up.
Caregiver, Professor.
Wait, I'm behind. Short. I'm with you.
Oh, there's a bird. It's going down yellow though, so I think our Yamato shouldn't explode.
There's a lot of farm on the map. We can just chill. Let's hold mids up.
I'm rich as hell.
You can't stop.
I think
You know,
they all said chat he does. Sorry, I took it. Patrick is handsome.
Ready to use item.
I don't sound like Patrick fucking Star, man. I sound like Big Motherfucking A. Like Dracula. From the sun like Dracula. Run. Thank you for the likes on TikTok. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I'm looking at GT.
I like it.
I got him.
I see great talent.
Why the hell am I so rich, chat? In furnace?
There's a lot of hatred in that gang.
These are your final.
What? Yo!
They're burned.
Wait, hold on. Let me get this triple.
Good shit!
By one.
全く歯応えがないな。
Mid-boss, or did we just end the game?
Drop it.
drop it
Let's
then.
drop.
Okay.
Wait, SK, can I ask? Can you sub my Steam account, please?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. I was nervous to say just please in general, so I've been watching since like middle school, but
It's time!
graduated college,
Buy so killers the money from you too.
yeah.
Damn, you young
Go,
as
go,
hell.
go, go, go!
Yo.
I feel like auntie when people say that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You're not the only one. I've met a lot of like the Overwatch community, and it's like it's really nice to see like people I like grew up watching.
Yeah.
You go for earn after this? You guys just 60k up? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, we go for.
Let's do it!
Yeah, we could
Should
probably
be. You
farm a
should-
little bit more.
yeah, just make
them.
him- You feel me? That's a good idea.
Lead straight to their base.
What about the Ord?
I don't give a fuck about the urn. I want to kill them
Alright, my
and
bad.
then do the urn.
I want to kill him again.
I like the way you think.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
I got Bebop.
Oh, you guys don't even have a wave.
Take out Bebop to be claimed.
Well, he just fucking dies.
See Eternus.
And so the blood begins to flow down Manhattan.
Ah, shit, on cue, right?
With the bang.
Sounds good.
I mean, you really tried it. The dude had rebuttal. The dude bought rebuttal.
Oh, he's gonna fight his prey.
That's hilarious. GG!
Glob. What a game.
Nice.
Okay.
GG, Eskay.
Good time.
E6, come on! The moment of truth! Come on, E6, I mean E1.
I really am great, aren't I?